So after expounding on bullshit drama for way too long in the most ridiculous of ways, the show goes for way too little when given something of actual importance. A great place to start is these three. In the comics, Betty is the down-to-earth girl that Archie admires and gets along with. Meanwhile, Veronica has the looks, the money, and the class that makes Archie's head spin. Betty and Archie have history, but Archie and Veronica have chemistry. It's a great dynamic, and it supplied the comics with decades of material. This trio is so ferociously iconic that people who don't even read the comics know about their love triangle. Again, just watch Mother's Basement, Jeff, I love you. But in this show, for the most part, Betty and Veronica never really felt like rivals. I mean, there's this scene, and then there's this thing in the closet, but as time passes, they just become friends, and that's it. For two people who are so ferociously different, they don't seem to juxtapose each other in any meaningful way. Like, in one comic I remember as a kid, and hopefully I find some pictures of after I'm done recording, Betty and Veronica have a friendly competition to see who can create the cutest swimsuit. Betty's is cute and practical, and she made it with no problem at home. But Veronica's falls apart in the water because she used glue instead of using the sewing machine, because she couldn't figure out how to use it. See? Juxtaposition. So many TV shows, plays, and movies use juxtaposing characters as their centerpiece, or at least a main point of comedy. But pretty much from the start, they're just assumed to be friends for no reason. Was it really not possible for the writers to organically foster a friendship between these two? This love triangle can barely be called one, and sure, time is taken away from it because a murder mystery is happening, but really. Archie's romantic interest goes from his abuser, then Veronica, then one of the Pussycats, then back to Veronica. Meanwhile, Betty and Jughead start a relationship? For some reason, I don't know, These three might be the most iconic love triangle in Western canon, and the showrunners did next to nothing with it. Another example of this show's inability to drag things out and keep the audience engaged is when Archie discovers that the Blossoms got Hiram Lodge, an actual five-headed dragon, thrown in jail. So what now? Do we spend possibly entire episodes gathering clues, putting a case together, adding to the murder wall, leading to a huge revelation in the season finale? No. Instead, Veronica finds financial records going back more than 75 years in the basement. The basement of what? This hotel in Podunk Nowhere? Was this Hiram's master plan to hide any damning records in the same city as the people who have a grudge against him? Does Hiram make sure to keep copies of his entire company's financial history, including suspicious money sent to his family for 75 years, organized in such a way that a 15-year-old girl can decipher everything plainly over the course of an afternoon, without even the decency of a clue-gathering montage? How many books are on that table? Like 5? Like 3? From the comfort of the building that she owns, Veronica Lodge was able to not only find motivation for a bombshell dumped at the end of the last episode, which was like 5 or 10 minutes ago if you were binge watching, but do it by looking over like 3 books that detail activities for over a lifetime. I just can't with this shit. You have an entire mystery at your fingertips. This could have been an unsolved mystery that could easily span into the next season. But no, Veronica found 100 years of her company's financial records, the Holy Grail, and Trump's tax returns in a basement. And it's no big deal, you guys. She can just toss that shit up in one line. It's fine. No! For reasons that I have broken my brain trying to understand, the showrunners decided to put Archie Andrews, a high school sophomore, into a sexual and romantic relationship with a teacher. So the way that this so-called relationship ties into the murder mystery is that they hear a gunshot that later turns out to be nothing, and oh, we can't tell the police because think of what people will say. Yeah, I know what people will say.
Nope, stop talking, go to jail.
And then when Archie's friends find out about it, instead of, calling the fucking police, they decide, oh, let's break into her car and find some conveniently placed evidence that she's a liar. I don't know about y'all, but if I was on the run under a fake identity, I wouldn't have my real driver's license in my shitty old car. I'd have it in my house in a safe, or buried in the backyard, or shredded, or thrown into a volcano, anything but this contrived nonsense. So then, while other decidedly more important plot points are happening, Archie asks this bitch about her fake ID and real gun, and she goes off into a sob story about having an abusive husband and that the gun and the fake name are protection. Really? Some people are pedophiles to cope? Check your privilege. This is not a fucking excuse to have sex with a student, especially when you're 30 and the student is a high school sophomore. Sure, leave town, go by a fake name, get a gun to protect yourself that'll be stolen by children and then later used by Betty's mom. But are we supposed to feel sorry for her and accept that what she did was okay? Is it romantic to show abuse leading to abuse? Is this 50 Shades of Grey? So after this bullshit is ignored for about 3 episodes, everyone finds out. And by everyone, I don't mean the police, I mean these 2 chuckle fucks who do dick all about it. No one pulls Archie aside to explain why what happened was wrong, or ask if she forced him, or ask if he's hurt, or ask if he's suicidal, or ask him really anything about this situation. He's the victim of a fucking sex crime, but there was no time to ask him about his feelings on the matter. Hell, the only time this plot is even mentioned later, it's when this jackass treats it like an accomplishment, which to be honest I can accept because teenage boys don't really understand about the world and do see it as an accomplishment to have sex with a teacher, but I would think that at least one fucking grown-up would point out the fact that this is wrong. For half a second, Betty's mom suggests talking to the police, but then it turns into, oh, Archie's a terrible person, and oh, why are you against my, oh, quit my job, I'll just pretend I went crazy and made the whole thing up. Why is this happening? Just go to the police! You people are so stupid! I'm sorry. I got a little emotional. I just don't understand why this episode took every possible direction. Just stab her. Just stab her in the fucking face. Betty, do it. I know you can. Betty, listen to me. Hear my spirit through the TV. Kill her. Hi, I'm your mom and I'm a lawyer. Then maybe someone should tell her that her child was raped. Why not use your stance as a lawyer to, I don't know, try this bitch in a court of law for sexual assault on a minor using a fake driver's license and possession of an unauthorized firearm? But no, in this show that sells itself on drama, we can't have characters react to things in a way that makes sense. Archie and this bitch are a scandal, not a crime. You can tell because in their scenes alone together, we play soft romantic music. That's the way we do it on Riverdale. Now let's pretend it never happened so we can focus on Archie's dreams of becoming a musician. After all, Archie doesn't need to be a fleshed out character. He's just Guitar Man now. Remember the essay in the episode of Burn Notice I brought up earlier? I wasn't just trying to shoehorn my own writing in for no reason. There was a purpose to that. You see, in Burn Notice, again, they don't actually say the word rape, but all of the characters react in a way that we know what happened, and we know that what happened was wrong. But in Riverdale, the only person who suggests talking to the police was Betty's mom, but she's treated like a crazy bitch for even suggesting it. And it's shown that the only reason that she cares is that she's a busybody, which is followed by her going into a weird victim-blaming rant against Archie. When creating fiction, it doesn't exist in a bubble. It does in some way reflect the primary universe, and going out of your way to not acknowledge that a crime is a crime and treat it as a romance is disgusting. This point in this episode was the moment that I realized that no one making this show cared. When I was discussing this with my roommate Indy Falcon, or Oinky Falcon if you follow her on her art Twitter, she interpreted this final shot as ominous, implying that she might be back in later seasons. She also believed that the story of the abusive husband was a lie, meant to further manipulate Archie and legitimize her need to keep their relationship a secret. Indy went on to state that if the showrunners wanted her to leave town and be back later, a more dramatic and logical way would have been this. Somehow, someone finds out. There are whispers through the school, through the police. Suddenly, the whole town knows. In a burst of protectiveness for their children, every parent in town makes their way to her house, and the audience can't tell if they're going to drag her to the police or beat her to a pulp on her own front lawn. But once they get there, they find her car, and most of her possessions are gone. This would have not only shown that the characters see what happened as a crime worth punishing, it would also lead to some unfinished business and intrigue for when she eventually returned. At the very least, instead of just never talking about it again, someone should have pulled Archie aside to talk about the fact that what happened was wrong. This goes back to how sometimes the powers that be don't want the R word to be used because it makes people uncomfortable, but if someone had at the very least pulled him aside and used the phrase, "She wasn't your girlfriend, she was taking advantage of you," it would have been better than fucking nothing. Which is why I made this stupid video in the first place. Everything is either hyped up and ridiculous to the point where it's completely unbelievable, or the subject matter is undersold and then pushed to the side so that another scene can take its place. Cheryl's mom drugged a pregnant teenager. Is that ever going to be addressed? No, duh, that'd be stupid. Kevin is a gay 15-year-old. Should he be like the youth of today, loving Yuri on Ice and terrible puns? Nah, let's just have him chasing penis 24/7. That's all he's good for. Your sister sucks, lol. I'm gonna fucking kill you. So in conclusion, the Riverdale showrunners took something pure, simple, and enjoyable and turned it into whatever this is. Bad shows will always exist, but I hope that this show and any others like it will finally kill everyone's incessant need for gritty reboots. We don't need them. There's a reason what we had before worked. Basically, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I scared the bird. Oh, she's stuck in a box. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Did you fly all the way over here? And now you're too dumb to fly back? Oh, you stupid baby. You got so many problems. She's got a lot of white girl problems.